Good afternoon. My name is Tom Kegelman. I am the managing director at eCity Interactive, and today I am sitting with Paul Redfern at CupWrap. So, Paul, I imagine you have many responsibilities. You wear many hats for St. Lawrence University. So, rather than me guess what those hats are, maybe you can tell the audience, what are some things that you do?
Sure. At St. Lawrence, I'm responsible for telling the story to our audiences and for talking about all the great things that the institution is doing, and how do we tell that to the outside world. Then I also do anything else that President Morris asks me to do on a daily basis, and that can be anything from I work with our NPR station that's licensed out of St. Lawrence to any other number of things.
Well, you've got a terrific voice, so I can see why. So, what brings you to CupWrap?
So I've been coming to CupWrap since 2008 or so. It's been a phenomenal organization to be a part of. I've met some great professional friends here, great colleagues. I have met people that I can pick up the phone and ask for some unfiltered opinions on challenges that I'm having, and it's a great organization. And I learn something every time I come.
That's great. What's something today that you've taken away?
One thing that surprised me and sort of that I took a note on this morning, we had Jeff Salingo here as the keynote, and he one of the points that he made was in conversations with prospective students that diversity, equity, inclusion, belonging work is either just as or almost more important to prospective students than even academic rigor. And I was a little surprised by that. I didn't realize that it would rise up. I knew it was important. I didn't think it would rise up that high. And that was a little bit of an eye-opener for me this morning.
That's great. Yeah, this conference is all about eye-openers, and it's why we get together in order to be able to learn, what the industry is facing, what kind of challenges there are, and how we're able to collectively work together to solve them. So, I'm just very curious. With Inside of Higher Ed, you're very familiar with many of the other universities. You're familiar with how other companies market. What are some of the companies or universities that really, in your mind, do a great job in terms of marketing?
The first campaign that kind of comes to mind when someone asks me about kind of who do you look up to in terms of marketing is Drexel, actually. I love what they do with the Ambition Can't Wait campaign and all the various ways that they take that with print materials, with digital, with video, and the way they play off with those words. I think it's aspirational. I think if you're a prospective student looking at Drexel, you can find yourself in that. But I also think I have to imagine that if you're an alum of Drexel and you see that, you feel connected to your institution as well, and you feel like you want to be a part of that too. And that's the best of both worlds in terms of for higher ed revenue streams.
Yeah, and it's a very authentic message too that Drexel has. They've got the budget, they've got the mission, they've got the channels, and they've got the ability to be able to back it up. So that's a great one. So that's somebody who's doing something really well with Inside of Higher Ed. If you were to think right now about the challenges with Inside of Higher Ed, what do you think is like the primary thing that Higher Ed either needs to solve or solve for?
Well, I think when you think about higher ed, right, and what the challenge is, I think it is it's all about the business model in my mind right now, and how do we solve that business model? Because continuing to increase tuition is not going to be a sustainable way to continue to fund all the things that we want to do, and what does that business model look like, and what does that mean from a revenue standpoint? What does that mean from an expenses standpoint too, and how do we solve for that? And that's not a marketing challenge necessarily. That's an institutional challenge that we all need to play a role in.
Yeah, no, that makes a lot of sense. Something that it's a business model that has to be fixed, without a doubt. So
I wish I had a solution to that. I don't have a great solution.
Well, my follow-up question was going to be, what is the solution?
If I knew that, I wouldn't be sitting here, right?
So coming out of the pandemic, what are you hopeful for? What do you think what's one of those major pain points that's faced you over the past couple of years that you're hopeful that now you're finally potentially over the hurdle?
One of the things I'm hopeful coming out of the pandemic for more opportunities like this, to sit back down with someone in person not over Zoom. And you and I had a couple Zoom conversations during the pandemic. It's nice to see you again. It's nice to be at something in person, to be able to connect with colleagues. And I'm hopeful for more of those opportunities, not just at conferences, but even on campus. Getting us back to a place where St. Lawrence, the community, is so important to us. It's such a huge part of the experience at St. Lawrence that that we need to have those types of opportunities. We need to have those interactions. We miss in the Zoom world the opportunity, the before and after the meeting, to find out about how this colleague's child is doing, and how so and so is doing with something else in their personal life. Because on Zoom, right, you just get on at the meeting time, you do your business, and then everybody hits
Without
leave
a
meeting
doubt.
and go to the next one, and you miss some of that personal interaction.
Absolutely.
So I'm looking forward.
And virtual happy hours are not nearly as good as happy hours in person.
They're not nearly as good.
No, absolutely not. Thank you for your time. For everybody else, feel free to stop by Cup Wrap in years future. You'll get a lot out of it, as Paul said. And next time, feel free to stop by the Volt desk and go through the rapid fire with us. So thank you for your time.
Great. Thanks, Tom.
Appreciate it.